It's your boy, Big Sexy with the glasses.
Hey, who you talking about, yourself or you talking about me? Because if you talk about me, then you got to chill, fam.
I'm so glad I have that on camera.
Nah, delete that, yo. Delete that. That's sus. These motherfuckers, they gonna call me sus, yo. Delete that shit.
Matter of fact, it's about to be the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Xpansion Pack Podcast, where we download this week's gaming news and we bring it straight to you. We are on episode 80 today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my co-hosts each and every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We got my man Goop Master Flex to my right. What's going on, bro?
You already know. Hooping as usual.
Gooping and hooping. Pooping and scooping.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not that last part.
Oh, what?
That's all right. Keep moving. So, down low, we got my guy, Mr. 525. May 25th. What's going on, bro?
Yo, I definitely ain't pooping and scooping, I tell you that. Chilling like a villain, you know. I'm penicillin, winning, dealing, killing, stealing, all that. Not pooping and scooping. Nah, I can't subscribe to that.
But are you scooping the pooping?
I don't like doing that either. That's probably one of the main reasons why I ain't got no dog yet. Because
honestly,
I don't want to do that.
Well, the scooping don't have to be related to the pooping. You know, you poop and then you scoop.
Normally, they both are in collaboration with one another, and depending on the neighborhood you in, they might be looking at you kind of hard if you leave that turd on the ground. So, motherfuckers be trying to fight your ass.
I almost fought a couple people in my house, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember you said a couple stories,
bro. I definitely, not to get too far off base with it, but like we have a doorbell camera. I've definitely been peeping the doorbell camera when people are like, you know, just pooping and then like walking away or whatever. So one time I like ran outside. I was like, "Yo, like you gonna pick that up?" He's like, "Yeah, you know, I just forgot my bag." Yeah, I'm sure you did, motherfucker. Because sorry. Other news, we're here to talk about some games.
All spicy.
You said pick that shit up with your hand,
bro.
With your teeth. With your teeth.
There's been a couple situations, but we don't say that for another day. Because we're here to talk about some games. You know, we don't have any big news per se this week, but it's all about rumors, man. You know, we're in the middle of the summer season without any real E3, so you know there really hasn't been any other big conferences or anything along those lines. We're still waiting for Sony to have their big showcase at some point. Probably it's going to be at the end of August, which seems to have been kind of the trend, I guess, these last couple of years. Mm-hmm. But we're starving for news, so based on that fact, you're going to get a whole bunch of rumors. But before we get into the rumors, Chris, I'm going to let you take it away. Hit us off with this icebreaker.
Going on, y'all. Still hot as hell out here. So this icebreaker should hit y'all nicely. Ding. All right. So question is, name a time where you were playing a game and like something happened and it like completely fucked you up at the wrong time. All right. So like to explain, maybe your game lags out, maybe your internet cuts out, maybe, I don't know, somebody walks past your console and they hit the wire and it jiggles out, something. There's always something that happens within the game. Like, there's no way you just went through your whole gaming career with nothing happening. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. So what I want here is stories on like one of the worst times that it ever occurred. You know what I'm saying? I will start with a recent experience. This was about a year and a half ago, I want to say, almost, when I first got my capture card. I didn't set it up properly initially when I first got it, and my laptop was set up to go into sleep mode after like a couple minutes of not being in activity or whatever. So because I had did that, I'm sitting there, I was playing Hellblade, and I was doing my you know what I'm saying? I was getting it, doing my thing, and my screen just goes black out of nowhere. And I was like, bruh, did I break my monitor? I just bought this. So I start freaking out and shit. I'm trying to figure it out. And then I was like, oh yeah, the capture card. And then, 10 minutes later, I realized, what I did, but it completely fucked me up. I was in a groove. I don't know. It's weird when you're playing that game specifically, because I don't know about how you guys feel when y'all play it, but I get really like immersed into it kind of thing. Like, I don't think I could play Hellblade and be in the party chat. Like, I don't think that's gonna work. Like, I need to kind of like play it and like like tunnel vision in, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So like it was kind of almost abrupt just being in it and then black screen. Like, oh, what? What? Like, it's out. I was fucked up, bro. It fucked me up for a good like 10 minutes. And yeah, I probably have worse scenarios if I really, really scrape the back of my head, but that's the most recent thing that's happened to me, man. Just the black screen of death due to having so many friggin' wires and not truly knowing how they're supposed to work right away. Fuck me up, bro. Fuck me up.
Okay. Manny, I'm gonna let you go first, but now that you rephrased the question a little bit, I have a different answer than I thought I initially had. So,
all right, word.
Manny, what you
we'll
got?
Take it.
I was gonna say, I guess it can tie in for, I guess what we talked about recently with multiverses, being a Smash clone, whatever. One reason why I like multiverses better than Smash is because them servers definitely running better than Smash. There have been so many situations where I'm just like in the middle of a match and just like lag spikes just hit out of nowhere or whatever. I don't know if it's because I'm playing with people in different countries or whatever, but like that game lags so badly for one of the biggest AAA titles on the Nintendo Switch. That's, heavily based on multiplayer, in my opinion. So like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they fixed it recently because I haven't gotten back to my Switch in a long time for that reason. But like, yeah, like there've been so many situations where I'm playing Smash and whatever happens is just like lagging terribly. I could be even hardwired on my Switch and I still lag, and I just don't understand what's the problem. Like, why can't the game just run normal like it's supposed to? But
okay, yeah, I can definitely speak to multiverses being, at least from like a net code and like the servers, like being very solid. So I definitely hear you there. I know like there was a couple issues with like, I don't know. I mean, the game's still in beta, but like I remember there being like some weird issues where like you would clip through the floor or like weird little things would happen like that. But generally speaking, like the game is pretty responsive. So definitely got to give a big shout out to Multiverses on that one. So for me, initially, like I said, I was gonna go with something around lagging, but the way you rephrased the question made me think of something. So I gotta call out Ubisoft here. So we've really been getting into Rainbow Six Siege, this past year, really, like since the beginning of the year, and they had this issue. Now, I'll be real with you, it hasn't been happening as much these last couple like weeks that we've been playing, but they had this issue where people would just drop out the game, like just have random server disconnections, and Manny can attest to this. And that game is highly competitive. So there's one time in particular that I can think of where I got booted out of the game. When you get booted out of the game, if you don't rejoin or if you just flat out quit in a ranked match, you get banned, right? If you bans stack up. So I think the first time around you get banned for like an hour or a couple hours or whatever. Then it can go up to getting banned for a day. Then it can go up to getting banned for a week, whatever. I think I had hit a certain number of situations where I got disconnected and I couldn't get back in. So I got banned for an hour, but I didn't realize it. Then it got bumped up to a whole day this one time around. So I'm trying to jump back into the game. I think it was the last round that I got kicked out on. So it's the last round. So basically you've affected it. Your team is definitely losing if you're not there, right? Unless they completely clutch up. So I'm trying to join in time. The game ends before I actually get a chance to join. So I get banned. And then somewhere within that equation, I got banned for I think it was an extra day or two or something. I don't even remember how it exactly panned out. But basically, I was banned for, we'll say roughly a day and a half to 2 days. And for something that was completely not my fault whatsoever, the game itself had been experiencing a bunch of random server disconnects. I reached out to Ubisoft support. They were like, "Oh, the bans are hard coded into the game. Da 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 da. So there's nothing we could do about it." I'm like, "Yo, fuck that shit. Fix your game. Don't fucking ban me because your game is broken." Like, that shit had me.
Yeah, that's not it.
Heated. And it was at the peak of us playing the game. I think like we had been done with Elden Ring for a while, so all we were playing was Siege. It was before like all these other things came out, like Fall Guys and like us playing Fortnite more and all that stuff. So like that was pretty much the game we were playing. So all I could do was fucking just sit there and go play Rocket League, which ironically enough was the game I was going to talk about around like the lag portion of things, because that game, if you're lagging in that game, forget about it. You can't do nothing. You're just watching the ball ping pong from one end of the field to the other end of the field. You're basically useless. So yeah, that game, if you get any kind of lag in that, you're fucked. But Siege is definitely the one I'm gonna talk a little bit of shit about today. So Ubisoft, I know things have been going a little bit better, but make sure that shit don't happen again, because that really fucking irritating.
Man, I just want to also throw an honorable mention in there. I don't know why nobody else has this issue like I have this issue, but I have not been able to enjoy a 2K in multiplayer in quite some time. Every single year I get the game sometime, and I haven't been able to play successfully in probably about 3 years. That's crazy. Every single time I've tried to do it, regardless of the settings, regardless of whatever it is, I've gotten better internet. It does not matter. Like, I always have an issue every time.
It's really weird though, because like obviously you can do everything else, right? You stream on Twitch, you know. By the way, what's that handle on Twitch?
Oh, it's MAY25THXX.
Okay. Shout out. Twitch.tv/May 25th. THXX. So yeah, but you do all that stuff. You obviously, like, we play, you know, shooters, you play Destiny, no issues. Then this man gets on 2K, it's like
yo, no, it's not that, bro. I'll be at the I'll check the ball in under the basket, and then all of a sudden I'm at the other side of the court and out of bounds.
But I'm saying for me playing against you, you're
that's how
jumping
it looks?
like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Damn.
Looks
I never
hilarious.
noticed. It's so bad, bro. Like, it's completely unplayable for me. Completely.
That's so weird. You know what? I think it's got to be like a port that you got to open. Not to get too technical, but I think it's a port you might have to open up on your router or something like that. Because that's really, for that to be the only game you have that issue in, super weird. But
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll figure something out for Chris. 5 cents a day. Nah. We gotta stop making that 5 cents a day thing.
Yeah, for real. I'm past that, y'all. Come on.
My boy said, "I'm down. Wait, I'm up. Y'all down."
Shit. Fuck.
Oh man. All right, guys. Let's Chris, thank you again for the icebreaker. But let's get into the main topics we want to talk about here. First one, I'm very excited about. I think most of us are going to be pretty excited about if it's true. You know, again, this is definitely a rumor, but the source is a pretty reliable source here. So my guy Jeff Grubb, former games beat writer, I think he's kind of focused more on like I don't want to use the word influencer, but he's got a couple podcasts, he's got his own YouTube channel and whatnot. So he was on his Game Mess morning show, and he was talking about. It's funny too, because it seems like he either chose to wait on this information, or maybe it was strategically leaked to him or whatever right after the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer had came out. But he did talk about the fact that there is a Black Panther game that's in early development, and it's supposed to be a single player game. It's going to be made by EA, so some of y'all can do with that what you will. But the former studio head of Monolith Productions. If y'all don't know, Monolith made the Battle for Mordor game, I think it's called.
Yep.
I think that's what it's called. But basically, it was the Lord of the Rings game that kind of stole a little bit of the Arkham Knight fighting mechanics and whatnot, and then it's kind of turned it into their own thing. It was like an open world game and whatnot. So that game was really successful and actually quite good. So to hear that, somebody who's responsible for that game's success being tied to this Black Panther game definitely could be a very, very, very good thing. They talked about the idea that the game is centered around a somewhat similar theme to what the movie may be around. It's not exactly tied to the movie in any way, shape, or form, and it sounds like it's going to be coming out years down the line. But they said that the movie does start with the game does start with the death of one Black Panther, and then players take on a character that is supposed to become a new incarnation of the Black Panther. So interesting stuff. I know we really haven't had too many opportunities to play as Black Panther in video games. I know, last week we talked about Marvel vs. Capcom. He was in there. He was in the newer Avengers game. He had like a little story beat for himself. But it's I feel like it's a long time coming that we get an actual Black Panther game. Like he's obviously a very big character now as far as the MCU goes. And we know all the different things that went alongside that. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman and whatnot. But what do you guys think about the possibility of playing a game like this? Us getting to play T'Challa on our consoles and PCs. Manny, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it's very exciting because, like you said, we haven't had a Black Panther game, and I haven't touched a Marvel Avengers DLC because I don't know, the game like lost my interest at some points, but it's very exciting. And then like you said, that it's being headed by Kevin Stevens, who was from Monolith Productions, and who, like you said, had experience with the Shadow Mortar games and their combat style. I can kind of see how that will work out because you do need that like Arkham style of fighting for a character like Black Panther. So to see something like that go in on an open world game, that that's very exciting. I kind of wish it was like Respawn doing it, because Respawn, you already know Respawn is a trustworthy studio from EA. But other than that, I mean, you can't knock it till you try. So I can't wait to see how this game pans out.
Real quick on that Respawn conversation, because I was thinking that too. They got a lot on their plate though.
That's true.
But a part of me feels like the way they've been using oh my god, I've like horrible names. Vince Zampella. The way they've been using Vince Zampella, because he's like now heading like 3 different studios at EA. I know they're probably gonna let Kevin Stevens rock out, but I would not be surprised if they utilize Respawn and Vince Zampella as like a support system of some sort. Like you obviously have an amazing framework with the Star Wars game that they did. Again, my brain is just mush right now. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order. You have a great framework for that. That's an absolutely amazing game. If you can make something like that with Black Panther involved, that's an instant hit, man. In my eyes, that's an instant hit. So, yeah, I mean, I think they got it. EA's definitely been leveraging like their multiple studios like to have them work together. So I think that's gonna be a thing. But I do think Respawn has a lot on their plate to be able to take that on fully. So I think that's
it
why
makes
we're not
sense.
doing it. But Chris, what do you think about this, man? You excited for this? Anything you might be worried about?
Not necessarily worried. Well, I guess you could say I'm worried, I guess. EA, when I first heard EA, I said, I don't know. But then I thought about the Star Wars thing, like you guys mentioned, and I was like, that was a pretty damn good game. And like you said, if it was something along those lines, I think it would be fine. Excuse me. But one thing I will say is Wakanda in general, to me, is probably one of the better world building things that they've done in terms of the MCU. Not every single superhero, I think, has like a very creative, or not creative, but interesting place where they live or whatever. Like if you think about a Spider-Man, like I don't necessarily care to like explore Spider-Man City on that kind of level, unless it's like, you're swinging around and you're doing it for that aspect. But when you come to like a Wakanda or even like Gotham or shit like that, for whatever reason, it's like these are cities that are technically kind of almost alive and have their own story by themselves, regardless of the heroes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Wakanda, I would want to explore Wakanda, especially if it's a big ass map and there's a lot of secrets and all that kind of stuff, what you would expect with a place like that. A lot of spirituality stuff going on and different things. It's cool. So I'm happy that if they were going to choose any kind of hero to kind of give this kind of game to, it would be Black Panther because, yeah, arguably to me, it's the most interesting out of all the locations where you could have picked. Even thinking about like the location where Black Panther and Killmonger had that fight at the waterfall or whatever, like just stuff like that to me is really, really cool that they could put in the game. I guess I also feel like there's a high potential for the game to not come out the way we want it to, though, also in the same sense. Like, I do kind of wish it wasn't EA doing it, but the Star Wars game gives me hope. That's the one thing that I'm like, all right, that gives me hope. If it wasn't for that, I would probably be a lot more sour on this because I could think of a bunch of other studios that would prefer to get this opportunity. You know what I mean? But
okay, so well, that leads me to the next thing I was gonna say. If it's not EA in this studio, who would you want it to be? And you can't say Insomniac. We're not saying.
I was gonna say
they're ruled out. They can't have every superhero game. They can't. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. I would love to see a studio that hasn't really gotten a chance to kind of do one, get a chance at one. So like, this is gonna sound super fucking random, but I would love to see Rare get a chance to get it like a superhero video game because I think that they would do very, very well with the world building aspect of things. And yeah, I'm totally here for that. So like, for example, if them motherfuckers got their chance to make a Blade or like a Ghost Rider or something like that in the future, because I know that they can do that creepy type of stuff good. Yeah, I'm here for that. I'm all the way here for that. Yeah. These are the same folks who...
I feel like Rare is like more of like a childish game.
Am I saying the wrong studio? Isn't Rare the same ones who did Alan Wake and all that shit?
Oh, you're talking about Remedy.
Remedy. My bad. Okay.
That's what I was like.
Rare.
Remedy. Sorry, y'all. Your boy got his R's messed up. All right. Yeah, Remedy.
Remedy. I would not want Remedy touching a Black Panther game, but a Blade game.
Well, yeah. I don't know if they would do specifically Black Panther, but Blade or something with the dark tones, I would love that. Who would I want to do Black Panther? I really had to narrow down one. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at Obsidian either. I really wouldn't be mad at them getting a shot at a game like this either. That's like way left because I don't think they've ever done anything like that before, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
That's definitely left.
Yeah.
That's definitely left. The thing I think Obsidian would get right or get done well is like the world and the RPG elements, but I have no faith in them getting the fighting down.
Combat, so
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like when I think about it, like like when you mentioned it, it's like I don't know who I would want. Like I feel like most developers that I could think of that would be, I guess, even remotely realistic to have them make this game. I would be concerned about some element of what they're doing. So I think in a sense it might be good that we don't, it's a studio that we don't know. So I don't really have as many expectations outside of the fact that, it's a former Monolith guy. And I know that at least the studio head understands fighting mechanics well, but I don't know what to expect out of anything else. I mean, it's like on paper, like Crystal Dynamic, a team that made Tomb Raider, on paper, you would think it'd be pretty good. And I will say, I haven't touched this the Black Panther DLC in the Avengers game, so I don't know if that's actually good or not. But I know the rest of the game. I know the rest of the game is and it's gotten better. So I was actually going to say this, Minnie, when you mentioned what you said. I would recommend, if anybody's playing it on Xbox or has, Game Pass, like you can stream that game now. So you don't have to necessarily invest the space to download it or anything. I did go ahead and stream it the other day and it's gotten better, but I couldn't figure out how to get directly to the Black Panther DLC. Like I think I had to finish the game and I was like, I'm not doing that, even though I'm like 93% of the way through. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the team that made Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, they did a great job with Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe they can handle Black Panther well.
It's a different style of game almost to me, man.
Because Guardians of the Galaxy, you can you can be wacky because that's what the Guardians of the Galaxy are, right? They're fun loving and wacky and all this other stuff. And Black Panther's not like crazy serious, but like there's this tone you have to strike where it's serious, but at the same time, like what's the word? Like wondrous, if that makes sense. When you think about Wakanda and like, I think when I think about Wakanda, I think about like the great like environment of like not just cinema but of media in general. So like I think of Avatar and Pandora and how beautiful that world is, right? Like that's what I think about with Wakanda, and it's like that world is serious. Like Pandora and the Avatar movie is serious, but it's not like, I don't know. There's still a sense of exploration and fun that's had in that world. And I don't know, like that tone that I get from the Guardians game, I don't feel like would translate over. And I also just don't have any faith in any of the Square Enix teams anymore. So
Yeah.
there's that.
What about Rocksteady? Maybe they take a break from DC.
Rocksteady is exactly who I feel like I would be the most comfortable with, but I just feel like it's not realistic because they're owned by well, actually no. They're not owned by WB anymore. Because I think they sold those rights off to Discovery. Actually, you know what? I don't know about that one. Rocksteady wouldn't be interesting, but they are still tied to DC in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So if they weren't, that'd be great. But again, this is all.
Speculation.
Yeah, all of this is speculation. Yeah. So maybe there is a game, maybe there isn't a game. I guess if there was to be a game, I wouldn't be shocked if Insomniac got it. But I'm just like kind of sick of that shit. Like I would be okay with Insomniac getting those games if they were just like multi-platform off the rip, because then you can make your own I don't know, MGU, like the Marvel Gaming Universe or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but like some version of that on within our gaming world. That would be really dope, because I think they've already kind of teased the idea that Wolverine might make some appearance in the Spider-Man games or future Spider-Man games or vice versa. So like, to have that kind of world building going on within the studio is definitely really dope. But the idea that it's only on PlayStation platforms is like kind of also.
But that's Xbox fault though, We heard the story.
Supposedly it's Xbox's fault.
They asked and Microsoft said we'll focus on our own games. So,
but at the same time though, they kind of had to. You know what? I really, really don't think that any other studio could have made the Spider-Man game the way it was, other than Insomniac. So like, Microsoft ain't had nobody to do that. So as much as I personally am like annoyed, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like this is one of those situations. I'm not really big on I'm not one of those people who feels like multi or exclusive games shouldn't exist. Like every game should be on every platform. I don't feel that way about anything, except for this. I feel like with Marvel, because of the impact that Marvel has on the world and our generation in particular with the MCU and comic books and all that different type of stuff, I think the idea that it's limited to one platform really stinks. And I could understand it from the standpoint of Spider-Man because Sony owned the movie rights to that, and I guess at some level they worked it out to get the gaming rights for the time being. But yeah, to have like an entire Marvel universe just on PlayStation, this seems weird to me. Like it seems I don't like it. And I know people will make the argument, well, Spider-Man went to PC. It's like, yeah, that went to PC like years later. Like it's not. I don't know.
It's not day release.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to me. Even as somebody who has a PlayStation 5, like it just doesn't feel right to me that should like it should be limited to one platform. That just feels weird. But whatever. Maybe it might be wrong on it. It is what it is. But yeah, we'll see what comes with that Black Panther game, man. I'm really hoping that shit is real because obviously there's a huge market for it for a number of different reasons. We didn't really talk about it on the show, but we did talk about it together. The Black Panther trailer that dropped last week, and like, I mean, it's been like a cultural phenomenon in of itself. Like, a lot of reaction videos, people watching it, getting emotional about it. I was definitely emotional when I watched it the first time around. So that character means a lot to a lot of different people, from a comic book standpoint, from a cinematic standpoint, and definitely from a gaming standpoint. So it would be great to see that come to fruition. But
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna pivot from one iconic character to another iconic franchise in Grand Theft Auto. I know it's something we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast. Grand Theft Auto 6, and we got a pretty big credible leak because there's been a lot of rumors swirling around and whatnot about that game, but this is probably one of the first times that we've got something that I think would be considered credible about the information on this game. So this is actually coming from Bloomberg. For those of you who know, Bloomberg is a very reputable site in particular, but not only just the site, but the person, Jason Schreier, who formerly was from Kotaku, has leaked a ton of different things in the past that's come to fruition. Also gotten some big scoops on the what's the word crunch that happened in the industry. Like he's gotten his hands on a lot of big stories that happened in the gaming industry. So to see him talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 is definitely a pretty big deal. So there's a few main points, 4 main points in particular in the article. I won't go through all of it, but the 4 main points is, first, there's going to be a female protagonist. So I know Manny's excited about that. Second,
So attacked. No, it's
Second, the game is likely at least 2 years away. So they mentioned that it should release sometime in Take-Two or Rockstar's 2024 financial year, which takes place anywhere. Basically, that year runs from April 2023 to March 2024. So we're thinking, the rumor says that it should be coming within that time frame, which is pretty exciting. That's not too far away. And it also means that if that's the case, we may be seeing something, some sort of a tease or something along those lines soonish. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that's partially why this leak has happened, because they're gearing up for something. That tends to happen a lot once the ball gets rolling on, making trailers and, trying to get marketing material together. That's when you start to see those type of leaks come through. So I'm hoping that that's what's happening here.
it's making a lot of sense. It's coming. It's coming. I know when it's coming.
Yeah? What? Tell us.
PlayStation Showcase. I'm calling it.
That's what I was
PlayStation
thinking.
Showcase.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
All right. I hope so. All right. So then the third thing that's mentioned in the article. So Rockstar wanted to include a large portion of North and South America, but they had to reel it back a little bit. So I should read this one off verbatim here. So original plans for the title, which is codenamed Project Americas, was for it to be bigger than any Grand Theft Auto game to date. Early designs called for the inclusion of territories modeled after large swaths of North and South America, according to people familiar with the plans. That's huge. We'll dissect that in a little bit. But the fourth and final point was that the game is actually going to be taking place in a fictionalized Miami, which is basically Vice City, but it will update over time. So again, directly from the article, the game's new map is now focused on a fictional version of Miami and its surrounding areas. Rockstar's plan is to continually update the game over time, adding new missions and cities on a regular basis. The new missions thing, not a particular surprise, but the new cities, definitely big.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in the past, expecting that's what would have happened with GTA Online, which still could be the case, but we'll dive a little bit deeper. So to finish this out, continue to update the game over time and add new missions and cities on a regular basis, which leadership hopes will lead to less crunch during the game's final months. Still, the game's world remains large, with more interior locations than previous Grand Theft Auto games, affecting the timeline. All of this sounds like exactly what we wanted to see, right, boys?
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
Excited.
Definitely not mad at that. No.
And meanwhile, they're still pumping out content for GTA Online. We just got something that dropped last Tuesday. So, yeah, I think that is the thing, the GTA Online, that is the thing that I'm most curious where that goes. Do they try to roll all the stuff over where it's like, all the, I guess it's going to be a new location, so you're not going to necessarily take all your properties or anything like that. But like, let's say clothing you've bought, cash that you own. I wonder if they even try to bridge the gap between the old one to the new one. Like, I'm curious about it because if the game really is 2 years away, you don't go out of your way necessarily to upgrade so much of the game to like a, I guess it's not a newer engine, but they did do a significant amount of upgrades to bring things up to the next gen level. being able to play in 60 frames and a completely 4K. Like the game looks absolutely beautiful now. The ray tracing, all that stuff. You don't necessarily take all that effort if you plan on just abandoning it altogether soon, right? Like with GTA Online. So I'm wondering how they manage or will try to bridge that gap. I think that's going to be a pretty big one. But Manny, what do you think about that female protagonist? I know, it's right up your alley there.
You guys gotta do this to me, man. Bully. No, but seriously, I've actually heard that rumor plenty of times before this, and then like you said, to be leaked by reliable leaker, what I'm saying, is good news because like we're finally getting somewhere, what I'm saying? We're actually getting closer and closer to that final date. And we know Rockstar recently just pulled the team off Red Dead Online over to, focus on Grand Theft Auto 6 more. So, it says a lot. Like the leaks I've heard was like it's actually going to be like a brother and sister protagonist, whereas like I think like the brother's like the good guy and the sister's like the more of like the bad character that like I guess is like something like drug trafficking and all that kind of stuff. But like, I just can't wait to see how it plays out. Rockstars usually go with the story, so that's all I really care about. I don't care if it's male, female. I'm still gonna play the game. I'm still gonna enjoy the story. That's all. That's what I love about Rockstar games. They always come out with bangers like Red Dead, GTA 5, and all that kind of stuff. One thing want to figure out though is if it's gonna be more of like because I heard this rumor a long time ago. I don't know if like they probably like canned it or not, but if the game is going to be more released in like episodes instead of like the full thing at once, because like the game's going to be updated over time. So I wonder if they're going to just like like let's say episode 1 takes place in Miami and then like something happens in Los Santos and you got to go to Los Santos for another part, or Liberty City and all that kind of stuff. And they're still like taking the time to finish upgrading those places for next gen consoles, since we already have a Los Santos built, but they just like remodel it for like the next gen platform and then integrate into online as well and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if they're gonna like go the episodic route or just like have the full game upon release, because the fact that it is coming out in 2023 to 2024 is pretty close by, and who knows what they have in store.
I'm gonna tell you this: everything you just said sounds amazing. That episodic shit. Like I'm actually here for that, because if you can do the episodic shit in such a way where we're actually going to different territories, we're going to different cities, like they're proposing in this article and like you just mentioned, I mean that's amazing, because you have the base level game, right? You're doing the whatever missions you need to bang out. Let's say that those missions take you 2 weeks or whatever it ends up being, right? But you still have an entire city to play with, all these side missions, all this other stuff. Let's say I don't know how they'll incorporate the online component, but when you're doing the online stuff, that's never ending, right? So if you have an online component in Vice City, then you have an online component in Los Santos, you have an online component in Liberty City, and then wherever else it is that they manage to go, that's amazing. And if it reduces the crunch time on the employees so they can come out with a better product and give themselves more time to flesh out the game, that's exactly what this should be. That's the benefit of being able to go in and add more stuff into a game later on, is that you can make a better product and then, alleviate the stress on the people who are making it. Like that's ideal. As long as we don't get anything buggy, which Rockstar is definitely, they have their bugs, but they definitely try very hard to kind of squash or iron those out as soon as they can. So I would imagine that you have a team for bug testing and really fixing all those bugs as they come out, but then you still have your big content teams who are making the next episode and the next episode and so on and so forth. I mean, I'm assuming that's how they have things set up now with GTA Online. So yeah, I think the GTA Online had to inform how they handled GTA 6. So now the question is, how does again, like I said before, how does online play a role in GTA 6? Is it a separate thing altogether? Are you incorporating it all into one world where it's like we just have like other people walking around and it just becomes like this more integrated MMO? Like, man,
what I hope happens is like GTA Online you could buy that separately than GTA 5. And I wonder if GTA Online, instead of being a part of GTA 5, just like continues to be its own thing, so that when GTA 6 do come out and um they're ready to integrate the online factor of like the character transferring to the different you know different city or whatever, like maybe instead of like I don't know, like maybe doing like an update where your character, that kind of stuff, like does go to Miami, and you still have Los Santos if you want to hop back.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, like, if that were the case, then they would have to like update Los Santos even more for like next gen graphics and stuff like that. If they do want to go back,
they need to. They need to.
Because it is a little outdated, but like in the end, like if they do figure out where it's like, your character goes from Los Santos to Miami, you just go to the airport and just travel there, and you're in like a different location. That'll be good. Or if you like integrate into one single map, that would be even better.
Yeah. The thing I'm thinking, and Chris, I wanna get your opinion on this particular thing. Like all these things that Manny and I are talking about, I feel like that means you have to change the game engine too, right? So it's interesting to me that within this 2-year time frame, if you do go that route, right, of incorporating GTA Online as is and keeping it as its own standalone thing, but then like kind of doing like the Warzone treatment, right? Like when a new Call of Duty comes out, you push things forward to match whatever that version of Call of Duty is. So like you would have to do the same thing with GTA Online, but we just got this big next gen update. So like I mean I guess it's 2 years from now is that's a decent amount of time, I guess. But 2 years from now, we're gonna completely revamp the engine on this next gen version you just pushed out. Like we might as well have just not done it, right? Like why have taken the time when 2 years from now you're gonna have to revamp it? You're gonna add all these next gen upgrades and all this other stuff, but then you also have to make changes for the engine. Or maybe they changed the engine on the back end already and made it easier for them to do this 2 years from now, where they flip the switch and say, all right, we're going to add all these things. Because I feel like there needs to be new mechanics in the game, right? Like between, the release of the last GTA, we had Red Dead, and Red Dead incorporates a lot of other new mechanics and like fluid animations, and like it just does things very differently. So you have to imagine that Rockstar is going to push gameplay forward in a new way, right? Like the shooting mechanics in GTA needs a lot of work, so you would have to imagine that they're going to be focusing on that. If you incorporate the fighting mechanics from Red Dead into GTA, that'll be huge, because I remember we used to fuck around all the time and like tackle each other and punch each other in Red Dead. So bringing that over to GTA would be amazing. So if you getting all those different mechanics in, what does that really mean for the game, right? Like, do we really need to make a brand new engine? Or I don't know. I think it's interesting to think about and postulate on, I guess. But Chris, I wanted to get your take on it.
I don't know if I necessarily say they would need to make a brand new engine. Or at least not make a brand new engine for that specific reason. I just think they should just go with a new engine in general, just because of how it's been a while, man. Like, it's been a long fucking time. Like, what's it been, like 10 plus years since the last game?
Yeah.
And we're still working off of that same thing. It's just like, so I think in general they should just update whatever they're using.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying, though, is like because it's so dated and you want to, the only way to incorporate those new things would have to be in
work.
Yeah,
it wouldn't work. And then like when I'm also thinking about the jump from GTA 4 to GTA 5, I can't say that I know that their engine got updated, but I do know that they definitely were on some, we're going to try a whole bunch of different shit in this other game compared to this one. The whole split character shit and all that bullshit that they were doing was, to me, I don't remember a game coming out at the time that did anything like that. So I'm as fully expecting them to try to come out of the gates with something different again with how they're doing this newer game. So even with that being said, they got to update whatever they got going on. And I think they will. I don't really worry about them in that aspect. To be honest, I don't really worry about this game at all, to be honest with you, except for one thing. The only thing that makes me worried about this game is I don't want it to be like watered down. And I'm hoping that they don't do that, because it seems like it could be a situation where the game doesn't have the same charm as it normally does because they're trying to take certain things out or whatever. I'm not saying that they're gonna, but if I had to guess, I would assume certain things are going to be adjusted. just because, we live in different times now, and I think, you can't do certain things like you were doing them 10, 12 years ago anymore. But like, I don't know, it's like that's what Grand Theft Auto was kind of known for. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what direction they take on that level. In terms of it being like a male, female protagonist and all that other stuff, like personally, I don't necessarily care about that. As long as the story's good, I'm fine. But yeah, no, if they took some of the charming stuff out of the game, then it almost makes the game not, it doesn't stand out from the other sandbox games anymore to me. Because to me, that's the biggest difference between Grand Theft Auto and then, say, a True Crimes that used to come out and all those other games that they've tried. Even Saints Row, the story in Grand Theft Auto is always wacky, unique, abrasive as fuck, and just it has its own charm to it. I hope they can still capture that. Because the only other game I could think of in the last couple of years that's sandbox based that had a really good story, and it's probably Cyberpunk, man. I really enjoyed what they did with the Cyberpunk story. I thought that was done very, 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 very well. But almost all the other ones, I don't think they really nail it on the head for me. So I'm praying that that's intact. Other than that, I don't worry about these games, man. I think they're going to do what they got to do with them. I think they're going to upgrade everything they need to upgrade. I'm almost 100% positive they are thinking forward when it comes to the online stuff and everything. I'm not worried about them. Like, Rockstar is the one company where I think we've said it in the past where they have built such rapport with at least me and maybe other folks that, like, I don't worry. I just don't worry. When I hear EA, when I hear some of these other developing companies, sometimes depending on what we're talking about, I might have a little bit of worry, depending. But I don't get that with Rockstar, man. They have more than earned my trust here. And they would have to really fuck up badly to lose it. Yeah, I remember not a couple years ago, maybe a year and change ago, when they did the whole remakes for the other games, and they didn't come out that good, and everybody was like, "Oh man, is this the one blemish?" And I was like, "If this is their one blemish, I'll take it, because this ain't really shit compared to some other games that I've seen that have come out. If this was the one fuck up that they needed to have in order to get out of their bullshit and still come out with bangers, let them have it. I'm okay with it, but." I don't worry about these games, man. I think this is going to be another hit. I think they're going to push something forward. And if we don't get any games that like give us that true next gen experience before they come out, I think these will give us that. If that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely feel you on that.
Because there's just too much for them to work with, and they've taken too long on the game. And it's not even that they're taking long. I just feel like they're taking their time and they're making things right. And they try new things. They're not scared to do things, man. Rockstar has never seemed like they've been afraid of that. They've always had a motto and they've just constantly built on top of it, but it never has seemed like they've been scared to try something new. Yeah, no, I don't worry about these dudes at all, man. I think the game is going to be great when it comes out. 2023, 2024. You know what I'm saying? We're ready for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm not worried about this shit. To I guess quell your fears on the taking certain things out or whatever. I mean, you really should just get on GTA Online, man. That'll dispel your fears real quick. All the content drops that they've put in there, them stories are great. The Dr. Dre one's fucking amazing. They don't.
Yeah, I heard it was awesome. Yeah.
They don't pull punches or anything, like, and I don't know, like the stuff you're kind of alluding to, like how we live in a different climate. I don't think we live in a different climate for what GTA is about. GTA has always been about, like, I don't know, making fun of people doing stupid shit, like making fun of the nonsense that goes on in our society, basically. So I just envision them leaning more into that because of how ridiculous things are right now. Basically, like, I don't know, when you look at like certain shows, like, I know you don't watch this, but like The Boys has been nothing but, like, this past season in particular has been nothing but a parody of society right now. And I feel like that's the exact type of vibe that I get from GTA when they talk about, like, again, the nonsense that people do and how far they go to show, to kind of make fun of shit. Like the GTA Online stuff, like all the extra little expansions that they've dropped, they've definitely been keeping with the spirit of GTA. So I don't imagine that stopping at all when we get a new game. So it's gonna be exciting.
I hope not. I think my fear comes mostly from like how it seems over time a lot of different things have had to kind of like change, but like especially like with comedians and stuff like that recently, it seems like even comedians kind of can't like do what they used to be able to do in a lot of senses. So like that's where I'm getting at with it. Like if you can't even have folks who can like get on stage and make jokes like that how they used to anymore, I'm like that makes me scared for the game. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, this is the part of this game is being able to be brash in a sense and being able to kind of make fun of certain things in a sense, and everybody kind of laughing. You know, almost like a South Park. South Park has always kind of been. It is what it is, but they kind of target everyone. It's like they don't specifically get one group or anything. Everybody gets heat, and we all kind of just accept it for what it is, and it's just the charm of the show. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that it doesn't water down in that aspect. That's the point I'm trying to get at, I guess.
Yeah, now I'll say it again. Go play GTA Online.
Yeah, no, yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I haven't done
that charm's
so.
still there. You know what I'm saying? With the recent DLCs, I'll say you still see it. I'll tell you this: Rockstar is that one company that don't care. They'll do whatever they want. That's what they want. They want that public press of people saying negative things about the game because they know that's how they get their money. That's what they've been doing. You know, everything else pretty much.
I hope, man. That's all I'm saying. I hope. I hope it stays strong.
Yeah, but look at this. Yeah, I was making a joke about it earlier. You know, in regards to like the female character or whatever. But look at the discourse online about that shit. Like you know, actually no, I'm not gonna use the term I was gonna use, but this definitely speaks to like the level of profile that GTA is at, right? Like some stupid Republican congresswoman. Actually, I don't give a shit. Whatever. I have my opinions, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat them on the show. Stupid ass congresswoman was like, oh, like if GTA goes woke, then they're gonna go broke because we're not gonna buy their shit just because they're having a female, like one of the main characters in the game being female. That somehow means that they're going woke. But either way, I feel like that's stupid as hell to me because that clearly means you've never played a GTA game because again, GTA is like all about social commentary. Like that's literally all they do is just make fun of stupid people doing stupid shit constantly. And I don't know, this last GTA made fun of that shit. Like they still make fun of that shit at GTA Online. Like at some level, people are gonna be, I don't know, fucking mad about dumb shit because they're fucking stupid. You know, like that's just the nature of people on the internet. Like that's just kind of how it goes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone as far to say the game's going to be hella woke or anything just because the character is female. That's a bit much.
Yeah, but even like what do you determine as, I don't know. I just that's that type of stuff that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a whole long thing I think. But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from with that. I would never end that far with that at all. Like it's not even that deep.
I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like the idea that people,
I know. I'm speaking in general.
Yeah, people are just like mad about dumb stuff. But I think it really just points to the fact that like people like that just never played that game because I don't know, that term gets thrown around so much. It's kind of a joke because if you've played a GTA game for years, it's been like what those people would consider woke, right? Like it's just dumb. People are dumb.
And all I gotta say is when the game releases, it's just gonna break numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, initial numbers are gonna be stupid. People have been waiting. They have been waiting.
They're gonna get their money. We're gonna get our content that we wanted for like 10 years, and we're good.
10 years, fuck.
Yeah, next year, next September, 10 years.
But you know what's crazy to me though?
That's crazy.
In the article, what did he say? Okay, no. So they're deep in the development process. I thought I saw him say somewhere in there that they were like still in the earlier stages, and I'm like, early stages, but 2 years out? No, you can't be doing that.
I'm sure Rockstar's been working on this little by little over the years, and like I said, they pulled the Red Dead Online department and incorporated it into GTA 6. So, like I when I heard that, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I know we're getting this far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be an all hands on deck situation. That's going to be like
it better be.
Yeah, that's the game. Like I think a lot of people respect and love Red Dead, but that's the game at Rockstar, right? That's the game at Take-Two. Fuck, I mean, all the properties that they have and all the other stuff. Yeah, they make money off 2K every year, but like really, what is the thing? Like the bread and butter of that publisher and obviously Rockstar as a developer is GTA. It's It's like one of the biggest games in our industry. So
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
give me the game. Give me the game.
Facts, man. I just want to tease, just a little tease. Just
I'm telling you,
show something.
PlayStation Showcase. That has to be because Rockstar and PlayStation always got something going on together.
It's true. It's true. They do. Always have a relationship as of late. So yeah, I mean, Sony, I hope you deliver. That would be big news.
That would be big.
Biggest news of the year, man. That would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also one of those things where Rockstar don't want to fuck with nobody when they do that type of stuff, right?
That's true.
They'll just on a random Thursday at like 2:15, they'll just drop a random thing and be like, next generation of Grand Theft Auto, or like some random ass thing at some random ass time, and then we'll all be like, what the fuck? And the internet will stop, the whole world will stop, everybody will be talking about it. We'll probably get a whole episode just to dissect that shit. Like,
I remember when that GTA 5 trailer first came out, like it was just hella random because it was like, I'm just scrolling through YouTube and then it says sponsored, GTA 5, and I was like, this is fake. And I clicked it, and then, what I'm saying? The words that always stick to my mind was like, you want to know why I moved here? Every time, that trailer is like, oh my God, that trailer still hits the mark right there. Saying
iconic.
That's what I want. That's what I want for GTA 6. Give me that trailer.
I feel that. Well, hopefully we'll get some iconic shit soon. Hopefully this year, man. I'm really hoping for that PlayStation conference. If not there, maybe the Game Awards or whatever. But this year, I want something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye out. Guys, we'll talk to you about it whenever that comes out. Like we said, the whole world's gonna stop. We'll probably do a special episode just for it. Because it's GTA, and you have to talk about GTA.
I'm taking a month off.
This man's wild.
Nah, let me stop.
The fuck?
Oh man, I'm definitely taking the day off when that comes out.
I want to try to take the week off, but
shit,
the month off. Bro,
some people would, man. They got the PTO. Shoot,
it's Grand Theft Auto, bro. It's Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll end it here. Thank you all for watching and listening. For those of you who are not subscribed and watching us on the YouTubes, please make sure to do so. Make sure to like and subscribe for all of you. And yeah, check us out on our social medias. Each of us have our own down below if you're watching on the YouTube page. And of course, check us out at Xpack Pod on Twitter and at Xpansion Pack Podcast with an X on TikTok. We will check you guys out next week. We still got to try to get a stream going, guys. We really got to iron out time for that. I finally got like a setup where I could easily switch between, my regular Xbox and then switching over to the capture card. So we got to figure that out. But yeah, guys, until then, we'll check you guys out next week. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.